This is News 4 San Antonio Today, the only local news station with nonstop news.
Well, it's what we do. Good morning, Nonstop News starts right now. We are the only TV station in town commercial free until the top of the hour.
We have you covered this morning. Jeannette has just showed us what's going on with the weather right now.
Yeah, Joy Bergen here with on-time traffic. Been a bit of a morning, obviously, for Monday morning. Not awful, but not great either.
To say the least. It might be a little bit awful for people coming into San Antonio from the east side. That's where we have a complete shutdown of Highway 90 I-10 all the way up to an hour delay now at this point. And it is all because of an 18-wheeler crash. That 18-wheeler still sitting there and sitting on its side. Photojournalist David Mendoza bringing us this live picture from Sky 4 right now. He's been kind of following the progress and potentially getting this out of the way, listening to police on the scanners, trying to figure out what to do in this situation. Good morning, David.
Hey, hello. You know, David, when interstate gets shut down, personally, I view that as awful. So I would say it's an awful traffic morning. Yes, we have a 18-wheeler completely flipped on its side, blocking the westbound lanes of Interstate 10 just after 1518 and before 1604. You know, I'm listening to police transmissions right now. They've actually dispatched SAPD's Eagle, their police helicopter, to come out and assist with figuring out how they're going to divert this traffic off the highway and get the cars that are on Interstate 10 right now off of the highway as well. I've heard them talk about shutting down at Graytown. Haven't looked at my map to see exactly where that is yet, but it is causing a headache. So it's a Monday morning headache when it comes to traffic. Police still trying to figure things out, and no progress so far on getting this 18-wheeler off the highway. I'll be sure to update you if I learn more. Back to you for now.
All right, David, thanks. We will continue to check in on that situation. In the meantime, look how quickly that delay jumps up in that area. Already now looking at over an hour delay, maybe even an hour and a half. We'll continue to check in on that. We're also still monitoring the situation on the northeast side, Loop 410, closed between Starcrest and I-35. That's the latest with your on-time traffic.
All right, guys, thank you. 6:44 right now. Developing this morning, tomorrow marks 2 years since the war in Gaza began, when Hamas fighters attacked Israeli communities, killing civilians and taking hundreds of hostages.
Now, analysts say there is now a significant chance for peace. Tawny Davis joins us live now to talk about those details. Good morning, Tawny.
Good morning. Analysts say an end to the war in Gaza could be within reach as ceasefire talks begin today. Israel, Hamas, and the United States all have delegations there. So negotiators are discussing President Donald Trump's 20-point roadmap for peace, which calls for an immediate end to the war. It then gives Hamas 72 hours to release all Israeli hostages. Following that, it calls for Israel to set free 250 prisoners and 1,700 detainees. The plan also involves Israel's eventual withdrawal from Gaza. And for the first time, Israeli leaders are publicly agreeing to that idea.
There's a lot of will on every party to try and get a deal this week.
Both sides continue to face growing international pressure to end the conflict. A UN inquiry says Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Also sparking outrage is Israel's recent attempt to assassinate a Hamas ceasefire delegation in Qatar.
Have you ever heard about a neutral country that mediates conflicts being attacked because they are hosting the talks from one of the parties of the conflicts?
Experts say the U.S. has considerable leverage over Israel and that President Trump is ready to use it. Reporting live, I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
Governor Greg Abbott is authorizing the use of the Texas National Guard for federal use. On Sunday night, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker announced on X that 400 members of the Texas National Guard will be deployed to Illinois, Oregon, and other states. In response, Governor Abbott said he fully authorized the deployment of his state's troops to ensure safety for federal officials. He also said there's still thousands of National Guards assisting with border security.
However, a federal judge has blocked the president's order to mobilize the Guard there in Portland. So the ruling grants a temporary restraining order filed by the state of California and blocks the administration from sending troops from any state's National Guard into the city of Portland. The White House had planned on sending troops from Oregon, California, and Texas. The temporary block will last until at least October 18th.
New this morning, police are looking for the people who shot and killed a woman on the northwest side. It happened around 10:30 last night on Hickory Springs Drive near Babcock Road. Police say the woman was sitting in her car in front of a house when someone in a white sedan pulled up, got out, and fired shots into the car. The woman was hit multiple times and taken to the hospital where she died. Right now, no arrests have been made.
6:47 now on this Monday morning. Over the weekend, we found out the sister of Suzanne Simpson, the mother of 4 who went missing in October of 2024, now facing harassment charges. So Suzanne has been missing since last October. Her husband, Brad Simpson, is in jail suspected of her murder. But her sister, Teresa Clark, is now being accused of harassing at least 2 members of the Simpson family. Affidavits show that Teresa Clark barraged family members with voice messages and emails accusing them of killing her sister. Attorney Joe Hulsher says that getting a conviction won't be easy, especially if victims can block the harasser.
At times what the victims say is, well, because I wanted to be able to prove that they were harassing me. But then the question from the defense is, well, were you really harassed if every time you got your evidence you were kind of happy about it?
This morning, Clark is out on bond. If convicted, though, she could see up to a year in jail. All right, switching gears here, a bit of a pep, as Jeannette said earlier, bit of pep in the step in some Cowboy fans this morning. They got a win. It was against the lowly Jets yesterday, but a win is a win. And the Cowboys now have 2, in fact, and they have their most complete win of the year. So they are really beat up, all kinds of injuries along the offensive line. However, this new group looked pretty good yesterday. Big run right here by Javonte Williams. Dak was great. Again, 4 touchdown passes, couple of them right there to Jake Ferguson. Cowboys defense gave up a couple of meaningless touchdowns in the second half, but this game never in doubt. Cowboys win 37-22. Here's the head coach after the game.
There's a lot of things to celebrate. There'll be a lot of things to clean up, but man, the effort and play style on both sides of the ball and special teams I thought was terrific. I thought the defense played physical, man. I thought Maris did that. The pass rush was incredible, because I was sitting there working on calls and I'd look up and see Justin, on his back or running for his life. And our guys expected to win this game. They expected to play well, and I think that's important, and that's what we're trying to build.
Also, I dig those white uniforms. The Cowboys will be on the road next Sunday in Charlotte. Panthers are not a great team, but they did get a win yesterday against Miami, and they are undefeated there at home this year as well.
Well, things are really heating up for the San Antonio Spurs. The team held their annual silver and black scrimmage over the weekend, and now will take on some different competition. Saturday night was a chance to play in front of the team's fans at the Frost Bank Center. And tonight they'll host a team from China in the first official preseason game. Other than a few injuries, head coach Mitch Johnson likes what he sees so far from his team and from Wemby.
This is also an area where I really got better at, like knowing myself and knowing the game better, because months ago and coming to practice, if I can use my arm, I tried all the different types of squats possible in the weight room, and after that I saw every shot I took probably last season, and looked at 1,000 situations of the game, so I got much more knowledge, if I can say that. I didn't get more reps in game, but I got more knowledge.
The regular season tips off in Dallas on October 22nd.
Looking ahead, the Bexar County Elections Department is reminding voters about what they can and cannot wear, speaking of the Spurs, when they go vote for a possible downtown arena. So you cannot wear Spurs gear or rodeo gear when you go to vote. We're talking about Proposition A, that's funding for upgrades to the Frost Bank Center, Freeman Coliseum, the Stock Show and Rodeo. Proposition B is the funding for a new downtown arena. This all goes back to state election code, which establishes a 100-foot no electioneering zone around the entrance there to polling locations.
Now your certified most accurate 4-zone weather with meteorologist Jeannette Caillet.
November 4th, by the way, is Election Day. Hopefully by then it'll be cooler.
Hopefully. Beyond the 7-day, though, as we get closer to the middle of October, could see our first true cold front where it gets chillier.
Where you're going to need that jacket.
Yes, and by then you'll be able to break out the fall boots, ladies.
I just bought some boots yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
nice.
They were on sale.
Oh, that makes it even nicer.
Yeah.
All right, here's what to expect. So first off, this week, there will be a cool front that comes across the area. Notice the word cool. It's not going to get cold, but we'll see a change in terms of the humidity levels. Ahead of that front, which by the way is currently near the panhandle, we're seeing an increase in low-level moisture, so that's making it feel a little stickier this morning and milder. But once the front comes in, the humidity will be a lot lower. Unfortunately, little to no rain this week. There is a front right now. Near it, we are seeing some patchy light rain. Near the coast, along the coastal bend, some isolated showers. The rest of Texas is dry. Now that front does extend up towards the upper Midwest, and it is pretty active anywhere from Kansas to Nebraska, including Iowa and South Dakota. This area of low pressure near the coast of Louisiana will fizzle out. It's not going to make it this far west because we do have an upper level ridge that's parked just to our southwest. Tomorrow in the morning, we get a stronger flow off the Gulf, so it is going to be cloudy, and that's going to make it feel even warmer. In the afternoon, isolated showers are possible, otherwise partly sunny. Little to no rain with the front, but in wake of the front, we do get that drier air. So by the end of the week into the weekend, it'll be less humid with plenty of sunshine. In the tropics, there is a tropical wave that is producing a disorganized area of showers and thunderstorms across the southern Atlantic Ocean. This is likely to become Jerry, which is the next name on the list. Looks like that's going to be tracking to the northwest, not coming into the Gulf. Here's your Monday forecast. So mostly sunny skies through the morning, and then we'll see partly sunny skies for the rest of the day. Temperatures will go from the low 70s this morning to the mid 80s at noon, and then topping out in the low 90s. Forecast high for San Antonio and the central zone right around 92. Eastern zone 20% rain chance. Now looking ahead, it looks like the cold front that will be possibly working its way across Texas in the next week and a half will start to move across the Pacific Northwest October 15th or 16th. This is the one that will likely bring in some fall weather as we get closer to the 18th or 19th. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that verifies. 7-day forecast this week. Highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. That is above the normal. Again, less humid later in the week going into the weekend. Here's the extended forecast for the other three zones. Do want to point out with the humidity the next couple of days, it's going to feel hotter. It'll feel closer like the mid 90s. Here's the extended for the eastern zone. 20% rain chance there. Tomorrow, 10% Wednesday.
All right, up to an hour and a half delay here on the east side of San Antonio. It's the westbound lanes of I-10, Highway 90 there. As you're approaching Loop 1604, right at FM 1518 is where you're going to see that closure begin. We're also seeing some crowding happening in the eastbound lanes as well. Photojournalist David Mendoza live above that scene right now. He's in Sky 4, giving us updates on the progress in getting this back open. So far, not a whole lot of that. Good morning, David.
Hey, good morning. So, yeah, you're right. Not a whole lot of progress actually happening. We do see a tow truck just arriving on scene, making its way to the accident, trying to assess the damage. You know, I'm assuming that the hour and a half that it's at currently right now is going to increase even more as they work with traffic, getting it off the highway and clearing this accident. We do have an overturned, partially loaded 18-wheeler. It's going to be a while. Avoid I-10 westbound if you can. The eastbound lanes are slowing as well. I will leave you with that. Drive safe. Have a great Monday, and back to you.
All right, thanks, David. Happy Monday. That's the latest for now on that. Do want to give you another update, though, on what's happening on the northeast side. Loop 410 also getting slower. Looking at about a 30 to 40-minute delay in the eastbound lanes as you're approaching this closure between Starcrest and I-35, and about a 30-minute delay in the westbound lanes of 410 approaching this and the southbound lanes of I-35 trying to get onto 410. So that's what we're dealing with there. Those were our two trouble spots. The rest of San Antonio has been quiet. That's the latest with your on-time traffic.
All right, Joy, thank you. No need to come up with dinner ideas. It's National Noodle Day. That means you can serve spaghetti, mac and cheese, ramen noodles, or any other kind of pasta or noodle. Heck, you can go a can of chicken noodle soup and call it a night, probably. Fun fact, noodles were first invented in China around 4,000 years ago. Instant ramen noodles were invented in Japan in 1958. I'm not a fan of ramen.
What?
Nah.
What do you mean? Like ramen noodle from the store?
Don't like it out of the cup.
But at the restaurants, it's very good. It's yummy.
Okay. I've never had it at a restaurant.
Yeah, you need to.
Oh, look at this.
Take a look at the moon tonight. It will appear slightly larger and brighter for the first supermoon of this year. That's when the full moon is closest to the Earth in its orbit. Tonight's celestial show will be the first of 3 this year. The next will be in November and December. The supermoon is also called the harvest moon because its brightness helped farmers harvest crops into the night. I was pointing at the moon last night to Bella, and because it was so bright and it was big and it was full. Yeah.
Very Halloweenish. Oh, that shot right there makes it look very spooky.
I love the moon. I asked her, I said, do you think anyone lives on the moon? And she goes, aliens, Mommy.
Oh.
That's a pretty
Today's a
sunrise.
gift. Make it count.